Struggling to make a perfect lesson plan for your teacher's interview? Don't worry, you are not alone. If you are a B.Ed student or a future teacher, lesson planning is one of the most important skills you must master, but it often feels confusing. In this video, I'll show you simple step-by-step method to create a lesson plan, different parts of a lesson plan along with a real classroom example. By the end, you'll be able to make your own lesson plan with confidence. So without further ado, let's get started. First, let's understand what a lesson plan is. A lesson plan is basically a teacher's teaching roadmap, a pre-planned structure to organize and deliver the lesson effectively. In simple words, a lesson plan answers four important questions. And what are they? What will the teacher teach? How will the teacher teach? What teaching aids will be used? And how will the teacher check whether students understood the lesson? When a teacher prepares a lesson plan before teaching or before entering the classroom, teaching becomes more organized, clearer, and easier for students to understand. That is why lesson planning is considered an essential skill for every teacher. Now let's understand why lesson planning is important. There are many benefits of making a lesson plan. The first one is proper organization. Proper organization means that lesson plan is planned in a step-by-step manner. The teacher knows what to teach first, what comes next, and how to conclude the lesson. Then comes your clear objectives. Clear objectives tells exactly what students should learn by the end of the lesson. These objectives act like a goal or target for both the teacher and students. Then effective teaching. When a teacher has a proper plan, teaching becomes smooth, confident and more impactful. As a result, students understand the topic more easily and learning becomes more meaningful. Then comes your time management. It helps the teacher manage classroom time properly. Then is your better student engagement. A well-planned lesson plan includes questions, examples, teaching aids, making learning more interesting and engaging. So overall, lesson planning makes teaching more professional and effective. Now let's talk about the main components of a lesson plan. A standard lesson plan usually includes the following sections. The first one is the general information, which includes subject, class, topic, duration and date. Well, here topic is mentioned, plans or parts of a plan. So like this is the general information which is very important, which is the first criteria, the first important information which must be written in your lesson plan. The next important component is the teaching objectives. In this section, it is written what students will learn after the lesson. The objective should be clear and specific. For example, by the end of the lesson, students will be able to identify different parts of a plant, explain the functions of the root, stem and leaves. So this is how the objectives should be written in your lesson plan. Next comes your teaching aids. Teaching aids are materials that make teaching more interesting and effective and engaging for the students. So here examples can be your charts, flashcards, models, PowerPoint presentation. You can draw diagrams on the blackboard. Using teaching aids helps students understand the concepts easily. Then comes your previous knowledge, which is very important. Before starting the lesson, the teacher should check what students already know about the topic. This can be done by asking simple questions. For example, students, have you ever seen plant in a garden? Can anyone tell me any part of a plant? This helps the teacher connect new knowledge with the existing knowledge, things learned earlier, past experience and knowledge. So previous knowledge helps you to connect the past experiences and knowledge uh, to the new knowledge, foundation for new learning. So building on what you already know. What is previous knowledge? It is a help for building on what you already know. Then comes your presentation and teaching step. This is the main part of the lesson plan. Here the teacher explains the topic step by step. This includes introduction of the topic, explanation of the concept, examples are given, and questions are asked to the students to evaluate, to understand whether children are understanding the topic or not, to make learning more effective and interactive. The goal is to make the lesson interactive and easy to understand. And then the last one is evaluation. Here the teacher evaluates the students. Evaluation means checking whether students have understood the lesson or not. The teacher can ask some questions to find out whether students have understood the lesson or not. Small easy questions can be put up, like what are the parts of a plant, what is the function of the root, what does the stem do. So these are the simple easy questions to find out whether the concept is clear to the students or not. What is taught in the class has been successfully reached the students or not, or the objectives which was planned are fulfilled or not, or are met or not. So this, if the students answer the questions, then the teacher knows that yes, what is planned has gone well. And if they do not answer, then the teacher comes to know that yes, some changes have to be done, or next strategy has to be changed so that learning can be improved. So this helps the teacher understand how well the students have grasped the lesson. So this evaluation is the most important part, and this should not be missed by the teacher. Now I share with you a simple lesson plan example. Topic is parts of a plant. I have taken parts of a plant only as an example so that you don't get confused. One topic we are keeping throughout the session. Teacher is asking students, has anyone seen a plant at home or in a garden? Students, yes ma'am. Teacher, can anyone tell me any part of a plant? So from here, previous knowledge of the students, the teacher is connecting the topic with the previous knowledge of the student. So she has asked a question that can anyone tell me any part of a plant? So students are answering leaves, stems, flowers, or as they are answering. So now the teacher first appreciates by saying, very good. Today we'll learn about the different parts of a plant. So now she introduces the topic that we are going to learn about the different parts of a plant, such as roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. And there is a diagram on the board. And at the end of the lesson, the teacher asks evaluation question. So this is how a small lesson plan example is given of an introduction part. Now I share with you a lesson plan on parts of a plant on the basis of the components of lesson plan that we have discussed in this session. So here the main components or parts of a lesson plan that a lesson plan must include are general information, learning objectives, previous knowledge, teaching aids, then your introduction, or we can say set induction, presentation, teaching steps, blackboard work, what the teacher is going to do on the blackboard, how the teacher is going to interact by asking questions or activity or whatever the teacher is doing, that will be included over here, evaluation, and then recapitulation, and then home assignment. So let's see how what is included in this under each section. General information, subject, class, topic, duration and date. Then learning objectives. Students will be able to identify different parts of a plant. Students will understand the function of roots, stems, leaves and flowers. Then previous knowledge. Students have seen plants at home or in the garden. This is the previous knowledge. Then teaching aids, what the teacher is using, chart of a plant, diagram, flashcards. Then introduction, how the introduction part has been done, that I have shared with you in the previous slide. Have you seen a plant at home or in the garden? Can you name any part of a plant? This is how the introduction part is done. Then presentation part, that is the explanation part, how the teacher is going to do. Explain the part of the plant, root, stem, leaves, flowers using the chart. Describe the function of each part. Ask questions to engage the student. Here no passive teaching is going, that the teacher is not going on explaining that this is the stem holds the plant, or this is the function of the flower, or this is the function of the root. No, the teacher is just going on. No, the teacher is interacting with the students and she is asking the students also to come up with the answers. If they know something about root, then they are also coming up with the answers and their experiences, and they are also sharing. So there's an active class which is going on, interactive class which is going on, and which is very important, very much needed. Then blackboard work. What blackboard work is done in the classroom? Parts of a plant, diagram of a plant is been drawn on the board. Interaction, encouraging students to answer. This is how the teacher is doing. What kind of interaction activity is there? Teacher is encouraging students to answer by asking questions, interactive questions, class discussion about each part of the plant. She is evaluating after the session is being done, after the class has been conducted. She is evaluating whether the students have understood the topic or not, which part anchors the plant in the soil, which part makes food for the plant. So this is how she is finding out whether students have understood the topic or not, whether what she had planned has successfully been fulfilled or not, or she has achieved the learning objectives or not. Then recapitulation, quick review of the parts of the plant, and then recaps the main function of each part by using the flashcards or maybe the diagram on the board. After that, she gives homework, a simple homework, easy homework, engaging homework, interesting homework, where the children enjoy and they learn something out of it. So that is draw and label the parts of the plant. So here, what is the tip? Keep it simple, interactive and confident. Clarity is very important. Language should be simple and easy to understand for the student. Communication should be clear, and student engagement is of top priority. Now let's talk about the common mistakes in lesson plan that we have to avoid. Many B.Ed students make some common mistakes while planning their lesson. B.Ed students, future teachers, and even some teachers who are actually practicing teaching, they also do some common mistakes in lesson planning, and they are starting the lesson with direct definition. It's a big no. Never ever start a lesson with direct definition. Always start by connecting the student with their previous knowledge. Start with storytelling, or that I will discuss in the next topic. Then no interaction with the students. That is also a big no. It's a big mistake where the teacher is only explaining with no interaction with the students. Then comes your no using of teaching aids. The variety of teaching aids are available. You don't have to use very fancy teaching aids. Simple teaching aids, even a pencil in the hand can also be a teaching aid. Even a notebook, if you show and you connect it with some topic of yours, can also be a teaching aid. So make it very simple and real life connected, so that your teaching becomes easy, simple, and connected for the students. Making lesson boring and theoretical. How does a lesson become boring and theoretical? When the teacher explains from the book, hold the book in the hand and reads out, that becomes very boring class. So try not to hold the book in your hand and just read out the lesson to the students. Avoid reading directly from the book to the students. Now let me give you tips for an effective lesson. How will you teach effectively? Now, how those mistakes can be avoided. Now, the first one which we discussed was that do not start the lesson with, no, teachers start with direct definition. Instead of that, use an interesting introduction. Start with a story, real life example, or surprise to grab attention. Example, look at this plant. It has roots, stem, leaves, and flowers. Today we'll learn about its part. So when you are showing something, visual aid is used, then students become more active. Their attention, their curiosity level is increased, and when you grab attention of the students, then you can make your lesson, whatever you have prepared, lesson plan, whatever you have prepared, you can convey that lesson plan, you can demonstrate that lesson plan, you can deliver the lesson very effectively. Then is your ask questions to the students. Involve students by asking questions and encourage them to answer. Like example, can anyone name one part of a plant? Ask. Do not straight away these are the parts of the plant. If you are only going to answer everything, if you're going to only say everything, then how the teacher, how the students will think? You have to encourage them to think. You have to increase their curiosity level. You have to increase their thinking level. And how will you make them think? By asking questions. So ask questions to them. Let them answer. Right or wrong doesn't matter. So this is the way how you can help students to think, by asking questions. Then is using teaching aids. Use charts, diagrams, models, or real objects to explain better. This chart, for example, this chart shows the part of a plant. Let's look at each one. So you can use charts, you can use real plant also, one flowering pot also you can bring in the class and you can show a plant in the classroom, or you can take the children to the garden and you can show them nature walk. So this is how you can use real examples, real life experience you can give to the students to make your lesson more interactive and effective. Last one is make the lesson interactive. And how will you make the lesson interactive? Use activities like show and tell, group work, quizzes, discussions, role plays. Many activities are there by which you can make the students kinesthetically active. So how will you do that? By involving all those methods, games, and other activities where students are actively involved. So teacher is asking the students to draw a plant and label its parts, then share with your partners. So when they do this, they'll be very happy and very excited to share with their friends. So an interactive lesson keeps students interested and helps them to learn better. So in today's video, we learn what a lesson plan is, why it is important, the main components of a lesson plan, and a simple classroom example. If you are a B.Ed student or a future teacher, lesson planning will help you become a confident and effective teacher. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, share it with your fellow B.Ed students, and subscribe to channel for more practical teaching tips. See you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep growing.